Hello everyone, right, so we're back at Sanctuary for the Walls of Sanctuary Part 2. Now, I was a little bit over-eager. It's gonna be a Part 3. It's mostly the walls are finished now, and you will see at the end of this episode, but there's lots of little things that need to be done that's why it's taken me the entire day. It's looking absolutely awesome. I'm quite chuffed by the whole effect is really working, but there's so much little stuff to do now. In this episode, it's much more of a time lapse of what I've built with a few kind of little things that I wanted to show you. Like, for example, this part here, I'm just going to remind you again, but you see how I want to connect it to the actual side building? That's because due to the building area limit, shall we say, in terms of sometimes the build area is actually like really close to some of the buildings, and also like the height of the ground, it's way too sloped too quickly. Some of the walls are actually going to be part of the buildings. Now this one here I actually do literally completely connect, but I've still got to connect a couple of others. If you're curious to how far this wall actually goes now, the only part we're missing is, you know the path from Vault 111? I have got to build a completely new gatehouse for there, just because you'll see me in a bit, I will try and think about walling it off, or kind of making it part of these walls, but just the weird shape of the land would not work with these walls. I need to actually build an entirely new gatehouse. I've got a plan though, right? Because obviously that's going to be a big structure in itself. Almost could take up an entire episode. However, obviously I don't want an entire episode to be for me just doing that gatehouse. However, it's going to be a bigger gatehouse. The original gatehouse that you see, that's behind me while I'm doing my funky little entranceway here, is initially built with the idea of much smaller walls in mind. So what I'm going to do is, for the next episode, which will be tomorrow, I'm going to make a new gatehouse. You'll just see a time lapse of it, and then we'll build it again in the next Fallout episode, and you can actually see how I've made it. I'm going to try and make something a lot more grander and a lot more cooler, I think, that kind of suits this scale of walls. See, because you look at it, it's quite spindly. It's about the same height, but it needs to be a bit more secure looking. Also, look how perfectly this worked. Like, those inward opening doors. An outward opening door would have actually completely just fucked this. And you see where I blocked up the holes. I'm going to do a little bit more to block up those holes, I think, just to kind of make them look a little bit more secure. As you can see what I'm doing here, as I've made it a little bit bendier, so it's actually connecting from one roof to the other, because this one, the build area, it's not big enough for me to really make it go around the outside, and this is me just tracing where the wall's going to go. So it's going to go there, it's going to go that way, and that right here is where we need to build the gatehouse, because it's just, you don't really notice it, and it's really demonstrated quite well later on, of just how much of a hill this place is. Like, when you're building something like the walls where you can notice differences in height, it's quite extreme. I'm using just this little technique which I showed you in Murkwater, where you basically just attach one of these little wall ends onto a ladder, and then pull it back, and then use the rug glitch to actually use it, because you're going to use this occasionally, especially with connecting parts. Some people actually asked me this. I'm surprised I have this. Almost negatively, actually. Cheer up, for fuck's sake. But basically, the lag. Some people are like, oh, it's going to be a shitty lag. No, not really. You apparently don't know how the lag works in this game. The walls have not affected the lag whatsoever. The game, at least for when I play it, it can only get so laggy. And usually something like lighting will be the thing that really makes it suddenly go up. The walls, I haven't even noticed any different. It just feels to me like the same as the castle. It's barely any change whatsoever. It's fine, actually. You see, like, smooth. It's smooth. You'll see the tour. It's smooth as shit. It might get a little bit more laggy when we start actually placing, like, little details around. But that won't be during the walls. That'll be when we're actually decorating the houses and actually kind of filling Sanctuary now that the walls are, well, nearly done. They'll be done tomorrow. Let's see right here. These towers, basically, are the thing that you use to not only line up the walls, but also kind of give yourself a linking point to the buildings. Now, I am actually going to do, these are my favourite walls. Like, I might try and eventually find a better way of doing those Murkwater style walls, because I like them, but they're a little bit too messy for me. These ones I absolutely love, because you can pretty much just use any material you want inside them. Maybe I'll do a bit more of a raidery, scrapper, less fortressy walls at some point. But basically, I'm going to show you another settlement where we make these walls kind of later down the line. The reason being is Sanctuary is a massive area. You forget, well, I sure as fuck forget. And this has taken me the whole day to do. That's why when I finished yesterday, I'd done about half. This is pretty much, I got around to about this point. I think I just finished this section yesterday, which I thought, no, it was actually towards the end. It was actually, what we did today was the whole other side. And I thought, oh yeah, that's, you know, only a third less. It's actually, I was only halfway there. And it was so much work to do, because it's more because of Sanctuary's weird shape. There are so many pre-existing structures that make it a little bit trickier, a bit more of a complete twat monkey to basically do. It's fun. I've really enjoyed doing it, but I realised when it got to about, it's freaking 1 AM now, because I had to record this dialogue because I fucked up. But basically, it was about 9, 10-ish when I was like, right, I have to stop now. I have to stop. Because not all of you are following me on fucking Twitter, so you don't know when I delay a video. But this part here was an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. You see the way the platform actually rests on top of kind of what is meant to be the bend in the walls. It looks fine there, but when I was putting the railings on, there was a big, massive gap. Now, I accidentally realised I didn't record what I did, annoyingly, so sorry about that. There's so much to do, because this was literally like 6, 7, 8 hours worth of work here. But it was... So basically, I had to move it. I couldn't put the railing on, so I had to move the whole thing. I had to redo this section of wall again. I had to redo the whole thing, because the railing looked shitty. But you can see now, it's really starting to come together. And I've deliberately left kind of tight-ish gaps in between the buildings, so I can literally just rug glitch any structure, and you can pretty much do that with anything. Like, I'm tempted to kind of figure out a way to kind of maybe make something a bit bigger. Like, you could just shove a load of, you know, like desks or anything in there just to plug up the hole. But I'm also going to try and make it so it blends into the side of the buildings a bit more, I think, because I think it's just needs there's lots of little details that need to be done on this, but it's looking pretty grand. This is one of my favourite parts. Now, these back gardens, I'll kind of do a little proper kind of walk around in a sec. But now that I've walled them off, they almost become more of a viable build area for me now. Like, I guess I hadn't even noticed them, but I want a lot more farms in Sanctuary. What I want is more farms that would actually provide... I guess, obviously, you can't make it massively realistic, because you need, like you know, massive acres of fields. But basically, farms... I want more razor grain, basically. I want more, like, actual grain farms. You know, we've got loads of potatoes, and, you know, what else we got? Potatoes and, like, mute fruit and things, but it wouldn't be, you know, realistically what would, you know, provide people with their, you know, how are we going to make sweet rolls without grain? So I want kind of lots of razor grain, and then I figured I'd make it look like the mute fruit and the potatoes were going to be more... not speciality, but I want most of it to be razor grain. Even if maybe people aren't actually farming it, I want it to be there. As I'm just using these. This wall piece has become my go-to blocking up holes area. See, look at here. Look at this space. So I'm just showing you the walls now. Look at that space. We can have nice little farms back there. And now here I've done with all of the fences. This is going to be quite an extreme time-lapse, by the way. Like, in a minute I do fuck around with trying to maybe think about doing the gatehouse, but then I realise this has to be a later thing. But it's looking so good. So good. But it's not finished yet. But it will be. It will be soon. And then I think, now that we started to wall off Sanctuary, it's starting to feel more like an actual... Because it's like a real structure for me, like it's a real settlement, rather. You know, once you... Basically, like, a settlement for me doesn't feel like a settlement until you've done the walls. And that's why I tend to do them quite first, because it kind of makes you kind of get this sense of space, I guess. Now, this is me fucking around. This doesn't account for anything, by the way. This is just me. I wanted to show you my thought process of... No, it's not going to work. Because basically... When I'm building the walls, and again, I'll show you in a second when I do the next section, because it really demonstrates how just these little subtle little slopes that you see account for massive differences in height over a distance, like huge. And here I just couldn't make a wall look good. And I've got an idea, but this is basically I'm going to do a time lapse, so it'll just be like next episode where you'll see what I build here. I've got a couple of ideas. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then the next one will actually redo the front one, and it'll be actually part of a video. This is just me dicking around, because didn't want to give up, did you, Davey? You just wanted to try. Just wanted to try, didn't you? Because initially I was just going to do the walls as I went, all the way around, but I have to miss out this entire section, because it was just going to take me ages. My intention was that I thought that I would have this done ages earlier than I intended. See, look at the height difference. Look at that. But basically I was like going to come back, but yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. So this section here, so there are set piece sections of the walls. So there are parts that you maybe won't notice when you're walking around Sanctuary. You know, you walk around and they'll just kind of, you'll see them just in between two buildings. Like, oh, that's a wall. But then like the part next to the river looks, you know, really stands out, doesn't it? When you're walking, especially on the inside, I find with the shade, it really stands out. And this section here is another one that just looks so good. Now, you're going to see in a minute, so what I do is I just kind of line this up, and it's about 22 or 24 of these long, but you can see the way the ground's is rushing up to it already. And it's also the complete wrong angle as well, naturally, David. But I gotta learn. So eventually I just go, right, we'll start at the higher side, and I'll get it kind of lower. And basically you'll see. So it looks fine, like you can see the slope, but you don't really think it's going to be that extreme. So what I basically do is the reason why I do these bottom ones, it just allows me to kind of level up the foundations, especially for long distances like this, which is why I'm kind of like aiming it like a cannon. A cannon of small shack floors. Put my ladders on here. I think that's grand. Yep. And nope. He's still got more to go. On your Davey. Alright, roll aim. Good. Okay, I actually do go back and count these. One sec. I think it was about 28. I can't remember. If you want to count, you can count. I was counting in my head while I was recording this. See, look here. Now this doesn't look too bad, right? You're thinking, oh, that's not too high. That's alright. I mean, okay, you can see the difference, but don't forget, that is the centre. That's not the highest point of the wall, right? So now I'm kind of using that to level up, and I'm like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Putting my little technique here, so we're just, just now build the tower, put the area on, put the shack up a floor, make a little staircase. Can't do the staircase there because my meat fruits are in the way. Let's have it going forward like that. No, I'm going to make those flashy. That one I don't make flashy. And then just... Oh, I think I was going to take them off, and then I don't. Don't take them off, David. There's no point. So watch this. You'll see, it is huge. You can see it already, right? I'm really, really high. And the problem is, it's not even that, having a big wall is a problem, I guess, but it just... And I do demonstrate. Look how massive that is. And if I go over to this side, you can see the difference. It would look silly, and also it would create issues when I'm actually trying to connect it to what will be the new gatehouse. A gatehouse, by the way, that goes to nowhere because it only goes to the vault. So I make this little thing here. So I put a tower in the centre on the kind of just where it starts to kind of really slope off. And obviously, annoyingly, I can't connect a platform to the bottom of that. I don't know why. You can connect the platform to the big ones, like the longer stairs, but for some reason those little ones don't snap a platform on. So I have to do my little technique that we built the stairs in the castle with, which is basically just, yeah, like this. Kind of leveling it up. Oh, and also naturally it snaps off to the side because it's so bloody overly enthusiastic snapping. It's alright. I didn't get angry. I don't smoke anymore, which is good, so there we go. I do have nicotine lozenges, though, and they're fantastic. I'm stopping them in a month, by the way. Right, so... See this? And now the good thing is, it doesn't really matter about the bottom section, because this is the one I need to have lined up properly. So I'll take that staircase off now. And it snaps straight in, because the reason why this has to be perfectly lined up is because this is going to be the new top level. That small shack floor is going to be the new top level of this section of the wall. Just checking it's all straight. My wee little crazy foundation. Scaffolding thing. Fantastic. And there we go. And I'll take it off in a sec. There we go. Look at that. And it looks nice as well, because it's a nice little dip in the castle. The sanctuary, fortressy walls. You can see I've just kind of demonstrated how it works on the top. It's perfectly in line. Really straight out. It's a very straight piece of wall. Now this part is a bit more extreme time lapse, by the way, because I didn't want to show you the same shit over again. So here it is, all initially board enough. Now, one thing we do need to do, this part here is got a really tight build area, like massively tight on this side, which is why I haven't actually put, in this video at all, I haven't actually put the fences on the front. I do put them at the back now. This is the further sections. This is where it just goes to the end. Probably should have started from the front, to be fair. There we go, so you can see, so it's at the edges. And now that's part boarded up. Also, look at that evening lighting. Or is that morning? I can't remember. Evening and morning has the best lighting. All of my tools are shot then. But look at it. Look at it. Yeah. This is a set piece wall. As I said as well, we're going to have things against these walls. I think this wall won't have any buildings against it. But the one next to the beach, the river, will. Now, this part here, that little fucking hedge, is an absolute nightmare. I have to also take away my clinic, I'm afraid to say. But I put another one down and I will actually just make one. So that exact build will be around somewhere else. I needed to put a tower there. And eventually I need to make it so it connects a little bit better to the building it's next to. You do, however, get to see one of my creepy doctors in a second, so that's pretty cool. You ready for the creepy doctors? They've got radar masks on. Like sacks and tubes going out the face. They're proper sketchy. It's awesome. When I'm finished building shit. Fuck's sake, Davey, yeah? We don't want to see that anymore. We want to see the creepy doctor, yeah? Stop being a knob. This is where I realised that literally the other hedge... Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, love it. You'll see those guys a lot more, don't worry. But yeah, so basically that hedge right there is an absolute clusterfuck of twattery. Also, this is me just showing you what walls we have left. It's literally just this part and this part here that connects to that bit that we made in the last episode. But you can see, those who have built in this area know how close this is. Oh, this is a useful technique. The hedge, I had to use the rug glitch to put a fence in because I couldn't snap a wall over the hedge. I could in the other one, but not this one. And this is it. I know that was quite a swift time lapse towards the end, but there wasn't really anything of note I needed to show you, plus I needed to finish making it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just a couple of things. Some very lovely Redditor called General Narwhal has helped me, well actually he prompted me and then has Neil been set up. We have a subreddit, just /, no respawns. I don't know, it was his idea, but actually thinking about it, it's actually potentially quite a useful thing for maybe you guys to go, and if we want any kind of specific building discussions. I guess it's like Fallout Settlements, but maybe about the tricks that I've spoken about. As always, any questions, leave a comment in the Wii comments, or as always also, follow me on Twitter @norespawns. I will talk to you lovely people soon tomorrow when we finally finish this goddamn bloody wall. You take care.